Hello, today we'll be seeing booleans and loops. We'll start with a while loop. It takes some condition that is a boolean. Let's print a message inside. The body of the loop will keep running until the condition becomes false. If I set it to true, this is an endless loop. That means that if I try to print something outside of it, we'll never reach it. You can see the engine is screaming for help right now. The execution has pretty much frozen because of this loop. Oh, by the way, I stopped it with the stop button, because the X button could make the window crash. So, it just kept needing help, because the condition was always true. In order to break out of the loop, we need the break command. Usually it happens within some if statement. And it breaks the closest loop that contains it. Q is true, so the code will print help once, break out, and then print can't reach here. There it is. Technically we can use break without an if, but what's the point of the loop? It's just run once. Now let's replace the condition with Q and change its value in the code. I'll create a counter and I'll keep decreasing it by 1. And let's print it. Remember, we can say Q equals count. If count is 0, we get false. So, we know the loop will end because on the start of every loop, we first check the value of Q. So we get 4 to 0. Let's add a breakpoint by clicking on the side. Our execution has paused on the line we clicked. Now we have some options here. I'll just use the step into. Now we're in the loop about to decrease the counter. Down here we see its value. And now it decreased. Stepping again we print. And since Q is still true, we restart the loop. Count decreased. Q still true. We print it, I forgot to say that. And let's skip to the end real quick. Okay, that's the last loop. Counter is 0. We print. And now the arrow shows outside of the loop. That's because Q is finally false. The value of Q is checked at the start of every loop. So if I set it to false on a different line, you can see now it's true. We set it to false, but we continue with the rest of the loop. So we also print 0 before breaking out. Once the while body has finished, it checks the value of q, sees it's false, and then we go outside. We can also use the AND or NOT keywords for more complex conditions. And we can also use the operators. Now let's see an example with arrays. The array class has the isEmpty method, which returns a boolean. So let's add some elements to the array. And we'll use the pop method to remove its first element. R is empty. So this checks if the array is empty and removes the first element until it's empty. Nothing. Oh. While the array is not empty, remove elements. Now it prints them. We can also see the array. After the first loop, it's just 2, then empty. And since it's empty, the not empty will return false. Now let's see a better example for breaks. Another array. Instead of a while, we'll take the for loop. This one will run the body for each element. The first repetition starts with I equals to 0, and the last will be array size minus 1. We'll see about looping arrays in the future, so don't worry. We can use the square brackets to get the element with index I of the array. Keep in mind that indices start from 0 instead of 1. So this will double each element. Let's print the array. And it's all double. Now let's use a break. Let's say when we reach the index 3, the fourth element, we exit the loop. We have 0, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, only the elements with indices 0, 1, and 2 were double, and we stopped at the fourth element. Except for break, we also have continue. This one will increase I and start the next repetition. And now everything is doubled except for the fourth element. Let's place a different condition. If the element is 2, continue. So these 2's will stay the same. We see that every value was doubled except for the 2's. Basically, once we find continue, anything below gets ignored, and we continue to the next repetition. You can kinda see it like a break, but only for one repetition. Whereas break ends all repetitions. So we just exit the loop. Now only the first number was doubled, because we found a 2 and left the loop. By the way, continue also works for while loops. Just make sure the condition becomes false at some point. So, that's how you use booleans in GDScript. In the next video, we'll create a truth table to see all operations. Till next time.